Okay, good morning. It took me a minute. I'm having issues. I got here a little late this morning and I am not on top of my game yet, but I am here. So it's going to be okay. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. It is the Morning Night Live, and I'm going to be talking about a little dust up that happened over the weekend that I was completely unaware of because, boy, I tell you, I was too busy enjoying family and friends, enjoying my daughter's engagement party yesterday, which went off fantastic. We had so much fun, and had a couple surprises for the people that were there, which was cool. That I'll tell you about in a moment. Today, I wanted to talk about this dust up that happened with TPUSA, Turning Point USA. I like to call them Talking Points USA because that's about all they're really good for. I don't know. I shouldn't say that's all they're good for. They do go out and seek out younger people, trying to bring them into the conservative movement, so to speak. And but it's a strange organization. Charlie Kirk and that's where Candace Owens cut her teeth, as far as all that. But anyway, they had a little problem over the weekend, and we'll talk about that. Plus, I want to talk about I open up several social media sites every morning to post what's my show. And so today we're going to go through just a headline that I found from each one. And then we also got some interesting things going on the internets. NPR did a little hit. Should I call it a hit piece? A little bit of a hit piece on Ben Shapiro. Sort of. But it's one of those things where when the White House starts talking about who they're going to flag for misinformation, and then you see NPR do a hit piece on Ben Shapiro, you start going, oh, is it starting to happen? Are they gonna take down Ben Shapiro next because he's a little too popular on Facebook? So we'll get into all that right after the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Monday, the 19th of July, 2021, the 626th episode of the Morning Night Live. And with a title like Pornservative, you know this is going to be good. Anyway, so yeah, there was this... apparently she's a porn star named Brandy Love who had bought a ticket to a TPUSA event, kind of a youth outreach event. Although when they say youth, we're talking like, probably the youngest people there are 15, and they, mostly college students age, and mostly people who are able to drink, because the tickets she bought were some like VIP type. You go to these events, you buy VIP tickets so you can have access to more areas and stuff. And the VIP tickets included places where you could go meet them and drink at the bar and stuff like that. So it's not like this was a youth event where it's like 10-year-olds and shit. It was some, people who are interested in politics, who are in their teens and early 20s and whatnot. And I don't think she was scheduled to speak there or anything, but apparently, the Groyper guys, the Nick Fuentes' crew or whatever, apparently one of those Groyper guys recognized Brandy Love. Now, the question comes to mind, well, hey, you guys are these social conservatives, don't do the hand thing and all that stuff, and you're it's interesting that you're one of the ones who recognized Ms. Love And apparently made a big stink about it, and apparently got back to the TPUSA people who probably didn't have any problem with her being there originally, but now they ended up having to kick her out of the event over the weekend. And that got the internet ablaze. It was on fire. And I missed all this because I was too busy enjoying my family and friends at the lovely, engagement party. And so anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to go just check out the Twitter excitement from that's happening, because it is fascinating. It's just fascinating because the argument. Well, here's the big controversy is whether or not this person who works in an industry that you know what they do, if that person can be a conservative, and should that person be embraced by conservative. Now I know that who's the other one that is big on Jenna Jameson, former porn actress, who has kind of joined the conservative movement and has a pretty big presence on Twitter, or did. I don't know. I haven't seen her on there before for a while. But another one was in that industry and moved over to the conservative side politically. And I was thinking, you would think that people in that industry, at least some, I mean, not obviously in any industry, you're going to have various political affiliations, but you would think that people in that industry would at least have some of a libertarian bent to them, live and let live. But she's actually proud to be conservative, and it's interesting. I actually sent out I tweeted her and asked her if she'd be interested in being interviewed, because I'm curious. I am just completely and utterly curious. I don't know anything about her. I don't have anything. I said I'm neither a fan nor a detractor because I really don't know much about her, but it makes me curious. It does. And so anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, before we start talking about that stuff, and also I will get caught up with a few news items. I didn't have a whole lot picked out today, but like I said, I'm going to go through all these different, I'm on several different social media platforms where I put out my notifications. And so I'm just going to pick one article from each one of those today. And so we'll get to that. But before we do that, we'll say good morning to everybody like I always do. First in the chat today is my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you, of course. And you got here quick, man. I barely hit the thing and you're on. So good for you. All right. And also good morning, Jonathan Peterson, Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Renee Mayette. How you doing? Tyler F, Somnambule Nation. Don Julio, Don Kiddick, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Good morning, Gunfox61, our Discord administrator and ever faithful provider of mega news in the Discord. If you're ever looking for more news stories, go in the Discord. He's one of the prolific providers. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Good morning, HP Lovecraft. Always Alone is in the house, aka always lost on nothing else. How you doing? Dave says, damn it, Johnny, get that stuff straight. Also, good morning, Wikipedia Snippet. Nice to see you back, my friend. Also, good morning, Lord Stanhope, James PFP, and that's everyone who's made themselves visible. Now, while you're watching the show, be sure to hit the like button if you like what we do, or even if you don't like what we do, just make me feel good, okay? Hit the like button. Also, share the stream out. I see a couple people might have done that already. I haven't. Let's see what my notifications here on Twitter are. There are, let's see, there is, okay, no, thank you, Prospero. Tyler, Diesel Dave, Somnambule Nation. I've already shared the show out. Hit that thing that goes, what does that do? You hit the arrow and then you click a couple more buttons and it puts it out where people you talk to or hang out with on social media. And that would be helpful because it gets people to, someone will be curious, be like, especially today's title. If everyone here popped out on social media today's show, because everyone, because the picture too, she's there with their things there and the flags and stuff, you know, people will be like, oh, Pornservative, what the hell does that mean? So anyway, all right. A couple more people showed up. Good morning, Straight Sith Mail. Nice to see him. Some bodies in the house. Broken Word and Asian Research Directorate. Nice to see you all this morning. All right. So let's go. Let's go over to Twitter here. Now this is her Twitter feed. And so I'm going to go to her. I'm going to go straight to the, I shouldn't say straight from the horse's mouth, because she's definitely not a horse. Make your own damn joke there. Fine. But this is Brandy Love's Twitter feed. And it says right here, I'm that conservative porn star who writes for the Federalist. Now, she has written articles for the Federalist. Now, I don't know which ones. I am curious. And then she has whatever. So I don't want to click. Okay, wait a minute. Before, I'm going to take her off the screen here, because I have no idea. I haven't scrolled on her site yet. And sometimes these people in this profession tend to put things that you don't want to put on YouTube. So I'm going to scroll slowly here and make sure. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any. Okay, she's not one to put up a lot of photos. Okay, that's good, because I don't want to accidentally. I don't want to accidentally put up stuff that I don't want to. So here's, this is interesting. TPAWG, okay. I see. See, some people calling out Charlie Kirk for being a hypocrite. So let's just, there is, okay. A good thing I checked, and I may have accidentally put something on my screen that I really don't want to, but we'll figure it out later. I'll do that. Don't bother talking about Shank. Yeah, I hear ya. So anyway, I'm on her feed here, and let's see. Come at you live from TPUSA tonight. Here, let's see if I can. Hang on. Let's listen to her words first. Now, this is good morning, infamous one. We're going to listen to her. This is just something she said. Now, she's talking about going on her OnlyFans and doing whatever she does there. And I don't care about that, but she's a little flummoxed by this whole situation.
Hey guys, as you can imagine, it has been a very bizarre 24 hours, but I was not going to let that keep me from you. I am jumping in the shower because I have been dealing with media and different things all day. Not the anticipated effect of this weekend, but we don't always get to choose how life is going to go, do we? So I'm going to get in this shower right here and stare at that view and get ready to come hang out with you guys live on my OnlyFans.
Okay, so she decided to go on OnlyFans after this. But I'm just, as you look through this, True Patriot Stand with Brandy. Interesting. This one, a lot of people supporting her. Matt 20, of course, these are things she retweeted. Matt 21-31 or whatever. Which of the two did what his father wanted? The first, they answered, Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, the tax collectors and the prostitutes are entering the kingdom of God ahead of you. Stop being a judge of others. Stay in your lane. This is somebody there. TPUSA did more to enhance Brandy Love's power of voice than she alone could have, simply by attending the event and interacting with the individual she encountered. By banning her from attending, TPUSA also flushed out some very prominent and hypocritical conservatives. And this is someone who didn't like, Jenna Ellis didn't like her there. It's not cancel culture to deny a self-described porn star access to an event geared to conservatives and underage minors. It's called standards. Well, she didn't go there to, she wasn't invited there to be a stripper. She just bought a ticket to go to she bought a ticket to go to the event. And, it wasn't, I don't even think she's trying to draw attention to yourself. But here, TPUSA is not, for example, the city of Anaheim, nor does it hold itself out to be a public forum. Well, I don't know, Jenna. And then this one says, right-wing hypocrisy knows no bounds. The right invented repressing people and never stopped doing it. The cancel culture claptrap is all about privileging your own speech over everyone else's. You're also a coward who can't debate, Jenna. Let's see. Someone here said to her, I don't know much about TPUSA, but if Christianity is central to their organization, I understand why they did, but their dogma is just as annoying and pernicious as we hear from the woke bunch on the left. Why, it almost seems like the Christian thing is, what is it? Be not something judged, be not judged, something. Okay, so let me think from a Christian perspective. Are they saying that people can judge, but only God should be the final judge? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. And also, Lauren Chen, too. You know Lauren Chen, used to be roaming millennial, where she was saying, porn stars aren't conservative. Why is this a thing that is being discussed? Well, can a porn star be politically conservative? Sure they can. Now, look, there's a lot of conservatives out there that I don't agree with some things they say or do. Okay? Yes, thank you. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Thank you. I couldn't get that one through my head there. Thank you, everyone, for sharing that with me. It's like, and then Brandy Love responded, because I'm a conservative porn star. I can post proof if you like. She has, because she's written, look, good morning, Thomas Cleaver. She has written articles for the Federalist. I'm sure that most people in that industry are vehemently free speech advocates. I'm sure that she probably has, ideas on the Second Amendment or in the Constitution period. I'm sure that she may well believe in the same tax policies as most people on the right. I'm sure she probably has some ideas about how look, you'd be surprised. Now, I knew somebody in that, not that particular industry, but a friend who was a dancer, okay? And despite the fact that she was a dancer, outside of her dancing life, she believed in a lot of the same things I believed in. And as far as how about family, about raising kids, about all sorts of things. And so I'm thinking, absolutely someone in that industry can be conservative in their political beliefs and even some of their moral beliefs, despite the job that profession that they're in. So it's like, what is this? So this person, Lauren, I love Lauren, but she's wrong on this. Brandy, you keep doing you. A few years ago, we said we couldn't have conservative gays or trans people either. Conservative and Republican can always be multifaceted. Don't you stress it. And while it seems to be an oxymoron too, to have gays who are conservatives or trans people, but as a person of color, as a melanin enhanced American, I kind of know how it feels when people say, "Oh, you can't be conservative. You're going against your own interests." So I can understand where this might be one of those things where people go, Lord, now again, I certainly don't want any relatives of mine being in that profession. And I'm certain that, there's things that, there's just things that you don't want. Look, she didn't go there. Again, like I said, she didn't go to this TPUSA event to be Brandy Love porn star, right? She went there as a political conservative interested in hearing and listening to political conservative points. Interesting meme here, agreeing with the porn star. Oh, no. But cheating on your wife with the porn star. Oh, yo. And you got to remember, too, I wonder if now, it's not like a lot of the people that these people support. Who's that guy? Who's that guy at the cover of Playboy magazine? That looks like the Donald, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like the Donald? I think that is Oh, and there he is with, who's this guy? Who's he sitting there with? He's standing there with the, that'd be Mr. Hefner himself, right? So I just laughed at this, how this kerfluffle from the weekend took place. And there's a whole bunch more. I will leave the Twitter thread or Twitter. I did a search on her name and so you can see kind of the replies to this whole thing. Other things, what the actual fuck from this is Politibuddy. She writes for here's a story on the Daily Caller. I knew it was gonna be here. Let's put a Daily Caller story up here about this. So egregious legendary porn star reacts to being thrown out of a TPUSA event. Brandy Love believes being thrown out of the Student Action Summit is a brutal example of cancel culture. Oh, snap. We do talk about cancel culture on our side. Good morning, Jonas Pedersen, by the way. I just see you popped in. Anyone else I missed? I got Justin Anderson there. Good morning. People's Front of Canada. What's happening? Okay, nice to see you. Legendary. Is she legend? I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't spend enough time in the Christian Science Monitor to know whether or not she's legendary, but legendary adult film star shared multiple videos on her Twitter account showing her excitement to be attending a TPUSA event, which is popular with conservatives of all ages. Love purchased VIP tickets set at a price of more than $500. She spent She put 5 plus Hamiltons on this to be VIP, to get VIP tickets. But things took a turn for the worse after she arrived. This is here. Let me refresh this because it seems to be stuck. Let's see if we can get this. Hello, Shia Grath. Good morning. Hello, Maddie. Good morning. Makina Programmer. What's up? Nice to see you all. So no red carpet, but this walk I've been waiting for all week for. So she was excited to go, and it begins. What an amazing open session, because she was there for a little while before they realized who she was. Love, an outspoken conservative, was ejected from the event Saturday and posted a screenshot of a message notifying her that her pass had been revoked. Wow. Can't make this shit up. I just watched Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino, Rick Scott, Kat Timp speak about freedom, censorship, how inclusive the movement is, etc. And then they had me thrown out of the Turning Point USA conference. The Republican Party is broken. According to Salon, we'll have to read the Salon article too. A TPUSA spokesman declined to comment on the situation to the publication. Love, however, had plenty to say to me. Currently, there is some drama at the Turning Point USA gathering in Tampa due to white nationalists in it. Oh. So it was the white nationalists that got her kicked out. Due to white nationalists in attendance trolling conservative porn star Brandy Love, a quote VIP end quote at the event. Now, again, a VIP means she paid extra to get VIP tickets where she could go backstage and drink and hobnob and rub elbows and hopefully not other things. I don't care. She wasn't there for that, right? She wasn't there. This wasn't a job opportunity. This was her going to an event because she believes the same political messages that this particular group does. So anyway, this guy reached out to Brandy Love for her thoughts Sunday afternoon, asked if she thought about if she thought getting tossed after purchasing a ticket amounted to cancel culture. She told me the following, quote, "Oh, this is the question. Is this an example of cancel culture?" She said, "It's one of the most egregious examples of it. TPUSA literally opened the show talking about how we need to fight back against big tech censorship, cancel culture, the deterioration of our First Amendment, etc. Charlie Kirk literally talked about making sacrifices as outspoken, quote, conservatives, end quote, something I've been for years at great risk and great loss. and then they expelled me. It's hard to make that up. It's a worst case example of cancel culture. As a follow-up, this person asked Love if she thought the conservative movement could grow if people were restricted and banished depending on their professions, and she said the following, quote, "How can conservatives expect to grow as a movement when they don't seem to respect professions? I listened to Rush Limbaugh since 1995. I miss hearing him every day. I didn't always agree with him. Near the end, he often spoke about how he believed the Republican Party needed to abandon the word conservative for something else. The word had become synonymous with negative connections. Enter Trump. Mr. Trump is not an ideologue. He's obnoxious, yes. I wish he wasn't, but no matter what the left says, President Trump is a big tent constitutionalist. That's why before COVID hit, all the people were doing better than any time in history. To Trump, you weren't black, white, brown, etc. You weren't Ivy League, blue collar, or a stripper. You were either stupid or smart. It's stupid to persecute people who have a different lifestyle than you. It's stupid to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Include everyone in constitutionally sound policy. That's my idea about growth and returning joy and unity amongst Americans. In my opinion, if TPUSA is the future, then the future is run by puritanical, fanatical, devout Christians who will demand compliance or else. That's a recipe for a shrinking party." Okay. I have to give it up to her for that. That was a well-made statement. Good for her. In a statement to Newsweek, TPUSA explained the ban by stating, quote, "The Student Action Summit is a youth conference with 15 and 16-year-olds in attendance. As a matter of policy, TPUSA does not allow adult entertainers, influencers, or brands to participate in its events designed for minors. This was not a decision intended to be unkind to anyone, but in the interest of the student attendees in attendance, and there are thousands of concerned parents." Well, I don't know about all that. Hello, Midnight in Exile. "Putting dicks in your mouth for money is mutually exclusive with being conservative. It isn't a cool kids club you join for fun. It is a word with a specific definition." Well, here's where I'm at on this. She wasn't, there's a lot of jobs I don't agree with that I don't think necessarily define conservative. And I don't really care if she wasn't going there as porn star Brandy Love. And unfortunately some people who recognized her, I still want to know, how did the Groypers recognize her? That's what I wanted. Because they have this thing about not watching porn and not, tossing it. And, but they were the ones who recognized her. And again, I guess maybe I'm not talking about conservatism as a social, entity. And because I'm fairly socially conservative too. But I'm a little bit questioning if she paid for this event. I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't think she should have been kicked out. I think they should have tried not to draw attention to her. The idea that 15 and 16-year-olds are in attendance. Her VIP ticket got her a special VIP room with a bar. And the 15, 16-year-olds aren't at the bar. And so I don't know. It's fascinating. Was she kicked off of social media? Did she lose out? Wait, where's that question? I got to go back here. Was she kicked off of social media? Did she lose out on new jobs or stripped? Or were her movies removed from porn shops? Nope, not at all. I don't think she was. I don't. She was not canceled in that sense. I don't know. I don't know. I struggle with somewhere. Some conservative with a mom porn fetish is going, whoo, managed to dodge that bullet by having it thrown out. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can separate. I can somewhat separate her profession from her political stances. If it's clearly she is clearly not a. I'm not gonna say she's not even a social conservative. I don't know her views. I don't know. I don't know her views on a lot of social issues at all. I guess I'm probably gonna find out because I got a feeling she's gonna be interviewed a lot more. But as far as the things the government is in control of is where my political conservatism is, and my social conservatism or whatnot is how I live my life. And there are people who I can agree with on things where I'm not going to agree with them on everything. But people have a really I don't want to call it an emotional response because it's not necessarily emotional. People have principled thoughts on this, either side of this. So it's I don't know. It's a whole fascinating thing. It's a visceral response. I have to laugh though. She puts on this. I went to TPUSA and all I got was this T-shirt. Here's one thing that I would have to say about this. So she knew this was, what do they call it? TPUSA Youth Summit. And it would almost seem, part of it, I don't think she was there to draw attention to herself. She wasn't going there as Brandy the porn star. She's going because it was a TPUSA event. She was interested in what they were talking about. And someone happened to recognize her. So I doubt, for example, I doubt if she was dressed like her Twitter profile picture is my guess. I don't think she went in there in a flag bikini. Okay. But I think maybe depending on, there has to be some tiny bit of something in the back of her head going, okay, I get it. This was an event for teens. If someone may recognize me, and if they do, maybe I should make myself more incognito. I don't know. But anyway, TPUSA, which has regularly championed itself as a leader against cancel culture since being founded by Charlie Kirk, is no stranger to controversies with model and women during event. In December 2020, Bang Energy Bang Girls shot out cash to the crowd at SAS and people weren't impressed. Okay, is this gonna be
folks, we're trying to get that thing rolling.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
let's go. Put some money in there. Let's go.
Okay, that's weird.
Folks,
right.
We're trying to get that thing rolling.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, Turning Point USA sponsor Bang Energy continued to shoot money out of a cannon throughout their 25-minute sales pitch to attendees, urging TPUSA activists to buy their products. Oh boy. And then let's see, this person reached out to TPUSA. Let's see, let's look at Salon's version of this because this is fascinating now. And I hate Salon, but it is what it is. Conservative porn star derails Turning Point USA's right-wing youth gathering. Well, that's a nice way to frame it. And of course, they used the best picture of Charlie Kirk ever. Charlie Kirk has a weird shaped head, by the way. Anyway, Turning Point USA, the right-wing youth student organization led by Charlie Kirk, found itself in an unusual controversy Saturday night after conservative porn star Brandy Love was allowed into a Florida conference and welcome as an adult VIP, sparking backlash. Again, now they keep both of these things here these outlets that were writing about this. She was, when they say welcomed as an adult VIP, that means she paid more money to TPUSA so that she could attend certain private events, certain parties, have access to certain bars and certain after parties. That's all that means. It's not as in they invited her to be she wasn't like a VIP they invited, right? She paid more money to have access to more shit, right? That's, you've ever been to a conference where they have, you can buy the just the guest level, you can buy the super duper level, you can buy this level, and you can buy the VIP passes, right? And the VIP passes are usually multi-$100, and you get access to the stars of the event. You know what I mean? So she wasn't, being welcomed as a VIP. Shut the F up. Anyway, the drama began early in the night when the adult entertainer's presence in Tampa was first discovered by a follower of white nationalist Nick Fuentes and a former Kansas State student, Jaden McNeil, who wrote on Telegram, quote, Turning Point USA has a porn star as a VIP at their Student Action Summit. Thank you, Pencalo, for your generous donation this morning. Why is there's two up here like this? That's weird. Did you do one or two? That's from before. Okay, that's from before. Thank you for the 4 spot on YouTube Super Chat. First sponsor of the day. In fact, even though it's not a Streamlabs one, Piccolo,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Until I have Streamlabs sponsors today, you're it, baby. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. With a little coffee cup. Wait. Yeah, a little, whatever that little pear thing splashed out the big coffee. Yes, I do have my cup of reparations right there. See? So anyway, this Jaden McNeil, dude, Turning Point USA has a porn star as a VIP at their Student Action Summit. Quote, imagine sending your kids to this conference. Think they're going to learn about Christian conservative values, and then they come home with photos with porn stars. He added, attaching a photo of Love snapping a picture with a TPUSA attendee. Oh, give me the vapors. Hello, Duck Dog. How you doing? So anyway, and so now I'm not sure, is TPUSA about Christian conservative values, or are they just more of I always thought of TPUSA as a they're kind of a Trump pushing group, not necessarily trying to make conservatism cool with the younger student set. I don't know. Anyway, so, and then this is Brandy Love, who all checked in. Anti-adult haters 1, Kid Rock conservatives 12. She must be a Kid Rock conservative. It's good to be around so many young conservatives. Gives me hope. And look, she's politically conservative despite her interesting choice of what do you call it? Professions. And so gee, Mom, how do you know Brandy Love does porn? Porzy's about effing her stepson. That's just it. Yeah, you got to go home and explain that picture to your mom. Anyway, quickly thereafter. Now, it's funny because this is Salon. White nationalist groypers began to approach Love both in person at the event and feverishly online, hurling insults again and again at the star. Sounds like me, they doth protest too much. Anyway, after a while, more mainstream conservative figures and student activists began to join in as well, calling out Turning Point USA for this alleged misstep. A new low for TPUSA. Zero class left in that organization. Anyway, I'm no comment. Hello, Jim Heatless. How you doing? Liberty University student Carly Denish said right-wing writers Alex Sears penned, absolutely fucking speechless, that conservative org TPUSA has invited an actual porn star to a conference that minors did. Again, I don't think they invited her. I think she just bought a ticket because it was probably somewhere near where she lives. I'm guessing this was this in I don't know, where was it? Anyway, that's my guess. Young American Foundation intern Jacob Porras wrote, "Great job, TPUSA, for inviting a porn star to their conference that features kids under 17. Very conservative of them." So I can see where they were feeling the heat. Anyway, someone here, she's absolutely fucking okay. Appreciating you posting this just proves how to normal people how sickening you people are. Yeah, because she wasn't trying to draw attention to herself either. That's my guess. Reach for comment by Salon. TPUSA spokesman Andrew Colvett declined comment on the drama. Shortly thereafter, Love was banned from the gathering. We regret to inform you that your SAS 2021 invitation has been revoked. An email from TPUSA stated, posted to Twitter by the adult entertainer. This decision is final. This revocation does not impact application to future events, and we hope that you will consider applying again in the future. I'm sure she's all over that. However, Love wasn't buying it and said the Republican Party is broken due to TPUSA officials giving her the boot. Can't make this shit up. Just watch Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino. We saw that one before. While many right-wingers cheered the ban on Love, an unlikely opposition force led by Federalist co-founder and frequent Fox News guest Ben Domenech also emerged. I'm disappointed that TPUSA kicked out Brandy Love for no reason whatsoever. She's a Florida conservative businesswoman who loves America. He tweeted, "The right has an opportunity to be the Big Tent party. Don't be a bunch of prudes." As of Sunday morning, the band remained. Turning Point USA is no stranger to such type of controversy, and they went back to the Bang Girls, which is Bang energy drink, which unfortunately named energy drink. Very fascinating, I gotta tell you. I always get a chuckle out of TPUSA, mostly because I know the events they put together when they were trying to gather up a bunch of influencers of melanin enhanced status at one point, that an event that both the amazing Lucas and Hotep Jesus, Brandon Tatum, and ABL, and a bunch of these guys, Terrence, they were all at this event in Arizona where Charlie Kirk was there, and Candace was there too, and they were trying to give him talking points, and some people just weren't as enthused about it as others. Amazing Lucas and Hotep Jesus, who still laugh about that event to this day. Anyway, thank you, Gunfox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Who says, "Oh, brother, Toilet Paper USA, Charlie Cook is overrated anyway, but who cares what a person's job is if it's legal? People need to get off their high horse." Yeesh. Yeah, I'm finding myself in that category. I really would be interested in having a chat with this woman just about this whole situation. I again, to me, it's just some fascinating stuff. All right, let's move on to something else. Today I wanted to look at nope, not on there. Okay, we're gonna skip Gab because I didn't have an article, but what was at the top of each little feed here, as I went on to different social media, because I'm on several platforms. I'm on Twitter, Minds, Gab, CloudHub, Parler, Getter, and just because every time I see a new one pop up, I just reserve my name. And in fact, if you're trying to find me on almost any social media, you can find me right here at PDawgKnight on just about everything, except for Instagram. Oh, and well, Facebook, I Never go on Facebook. I have a personal page and a PDawgKnight page, but I've never gone on either of them, basically. Except for Instagram, where I am at yes, that Marty. So, real quick. Oh, thank you, Justin. It's Justin77. That's a new name, unless it's a Justin who's using a different. Unless it's just unless it's a regular Justin. I don't know. Well, how did you spell that though? Justun. Is that the same as Justin Anderson? I don't know. I just scroll back and find out. But I can't find. Oh, it is Justin Anderson. Well, thank you, Justin, for the 10 spot. And Justin,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
I greatly appreciate it, but with no message. You should put a message in there, man. You know, got to put a message in there. All right, let's go into. I just wanted to hit an article from each of these social media, which some will be interesting to you and some will not. But I thought I'd find it fascinating. I will try to catch up on some news from the weekend. So this is interesting from the Epic Times. This came from my Minds feed this morning. If I find this here. And okay, I'm having trouble here. From the Epic Times, over 5,000 teachers sign a pledge to continue teaching critical race theory, even if outlawed. Now, who can tell me? You may, hello, check your logic. You may just have the same first initial reaction that I did when I saw this headline. Hello, Keeverdam. I can see you. Absolutely. I just saw you as I scrolled here. What is the first reaction that you had when they said 5,000 teachers sign a pledge to continue teaching critical race theory, even if outlawed? Well, my first reaction was, wait a minute. I thought nobody was teaching critical race theory in schools, public schools. What? What do you mean you're going to continue teaching it? So, I don't want to do that. Oh no, this is one of those I didn't even check. Let's try this real quick. Let's see if I can. Hopefully I can pull this up in an archive version because all right, it's in the queue. Over 5,000 people have signed a petition at the Zen Education Project that states they vow to continue to teach controversial critical race theory concepts to their students, even if outlawed in their state, amid a growing backlash from parents against teaching CRT in their children's school. This is not supposed to be being taught, as far as I've heard. Isn't that what you heard? That nobody's teaching it? Fine. You got Randy Weingarten from the National Education Association saying they're not going to teach it. They're going to teach it and they want it taught or whatever. How the hell can you teach something that's not continue to teach something that's not being taught? Let's see if this archive ever finishes here. So I found that fascinating. We'll see if that ever comes back. But so that was from my Minds feed. If that ever comes back, we'll come back to it. From Cloud Hub, Joe Biden requiring voter ID, bringing back the Civil War. Is that the code? Yeah, that's archive trying to find the create an archive version so I can read it without having to jump through a bunch of hoops. Anyway, this is an article in the Federalist by Jonathan S. Tobin. It was always a mistake to treat the raving of a man who once told African Americans that Mitt Romney would put you all back in chains as having credibility on racial issues or history. When Vice President Joe Biden uttered that hyperbolic lie during a 2012 campaign speech, that story of calumny against Republicans seemed to embarrass even partisan Democrats. Y'all remember that? He was talking to a bunch of black people. He said, "No, but he's going to put you back in chains." Mitt Romney, that milquetoast was going to put you all back in chains. Like, wait a minute. Joe, I got a question. Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you, Joe. First of all, brother, I've never been in chains. Anyway, Republicans skewered his claim that a GOP stand on financial regulatory policy was the harbinger of the return of slavery, but Democrats mostly shrugged their shoulders and put it down into the crazy uncle role Joe Biden seemed to play in the Obama administration. 9 years later, that same man, now acclaimed by his corporate media cheerleaders as the avatar of decency and honesty, yes, remember that when Yamiche Alcindor asked that question, is still towing the same line. On Tuesday, he gave a speech about the dispute over new voter integrity laws sponsored by the Republicans and Democrats' attempt to rewrite voting regulations on a national level. The result was, if anything, an even crazier version of his chain speech. Speaking at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, his assertion that Republican voting laws are an attempt to suppress and subvert the right to vote, comparable to Jim Crow, was equally hyperbolic. He also went on to say, quote, "We're facing the most significant test to our democracy since the Civil War. That's not hyperbole, man. Since the Civil War." His frequent use of the word literally and his attempts to deny that he's using hyperbole to make one wonder if he knows what these words mean or if the content of the legislation he is denouncing has ever been explained to him. Requiring a photo ID to vote is a measure supported by 80% of Americans, including large majorities of Democrats and minority voters. Other election integrity laws would limit practices that were virtually unknown or frowned upon before the coronavirus pandemic, such as mass mailing of unrequested mail-in ballots, vote harvesting, and unlimited earlier drive-by voting schemes. To suggest such measures are the equivalent of the Confederates firing on Fort Sumter is an argument so transparently false, it shouldn't require serious discussion. And we sure as hell keep discussing it, don't we? Since the narrative about Republican voter suppression, pitch please, a phrase stretched to mean anything that might involve the smallest inconvenience for a potential voter, has become an essential part of Democrats' electoral toolkit. These distortions are now largely unchallenged by corporate media outlets. The president received less pushback from his media allies for his mendacity about voting than even the cursory dismay his chains rant received in 2012. But it would be a mistake to view this blind support for Biden's hyperbole as mere partisanship. Like tragicomic escape of Democrat members of the Texas state legislature, Biden's speech is a form of political theater more than anything else. Still, Democrats' willingness to falsify history and pretend voter ID laws are somehow the same as a bloody rebellion over slavery is not an accident. It must be seen in the context of a rhetorical war the left is waging on the teaching of American history itself. It may play well with the loudest wing of Biden's party, but as the results of the 2020 election showed, do I even need to say it? Never mind, I won't say it. It is actually turning off the voters Biden pretends his preposterous claims are helping. Well, good. Keep flapping your lips, Joe. Keep flapping them lips. Oh, good morning, legit low talker. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. The revisionist movement to reimagine American history as a tale of unbroken racism, white supremacy, and oppression of minorities has been germinating in academia for decades. But it was not until the Black Lives Matter movement gained popularity and the New York Times published the 1619 Project in 2019 that it made real inroads in the American public square. After the post-George Floyd panic about race and the fiery but mostly peaceful Black Lives Matter riots, the full-scale assault on America as she knew herself was unleashed. Agitators toppled statues and invoked the Civil War, but they seemed insensible to what actually happened from 1861 to 1865. The real insurrection fought over slavery was quashed at the cost of more than 600,000 American lives. Hello there, cracked. Now, the war and the passage of constitutional amendments ending slavery and guaranteeing due process and the right to vote didn't complete America's journey toward more complete freedom begun in 1776, but it was an indispensable step toward that goal and would have been impossible without the sacrifices of Americans who had no personal stake in the quest against slavery. The recent popularity of critical race theory discounts that sacrifice, but to point this out or question any part of the left's new catechism of apologies and reparations is to be exposed to redoubled charges of racism.
That's racist!
Those gaslighting the country to justify lies about history are at the same time seconding the gaslighting and lies about voting laws from Biden and other Democrats. Ironically, the same people who minimize the importance of the Civil War because of a racialist agenda that denies the arc of American history towards freedom are trumpeting its significance to magnify election integrity disputes. Unfortunately, these falsehoods resonate with those on the left who have come to believe their political opponents are actual fascists. Now, and I laugh every time they start referring to people and anyone right of AOC as a fascist. They love to see, without any real sense of irony, that these are the same people who want a kind of a partnership with the federal government and the social media companies to deny your right to say certain things, which they've been very successful at. Anyway, still, this effort may be failing among minorities it pretends to represent. By promoting ideas like equity, which demands equality of outcome, quotas, and racial discrimination rather than the equality of opportunity, Democrats undermine the achievements of the Americans they claim to help. It is little surprise that black males, as well as Hispanics and other minorities, were more open to Donald Trump and his opportunity message, as well as his disgust with a political establishment that African Americans know has betrayed them time and time again. While those who want to beat their breasts for their privilege may cherish these lies, those who those who would opt out of the racial drama of perpetual victimhood may provide the escape hatch. Let's hope so, because the chattering classes want these toxic ideas to tear down both American principles of liberty and its traditions of free and fair elections. So, and on that note, the idea that, we're going to make equity by just saying, well, we're going to make sure we set this aside so that someone with another melanin enhanced person can be, can achieve. It makes it like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, you don't think I can do this myself? What's wrong with you? Are you that stupid? Do you know that I am fully capable of this? You know that Ben Carson guy became the top surgeon in the world, the guy he's attached to separated twins that were attached to the head. Remember that guy? He was a black guy. He didn't get that because someone said, oh, well, we need to put this black boy in medical school. And he didn't become the proficient surgeon by that either. So they didn't say, okay, look, we got these, these conjoined twins that are conjoined at the head, right? Now what we need to do is we need to get them separated. Now, I know that we have the expert white surgeon over here who has never done this before, but he's going to try it. And there's 17 of those guys, but there's a black guy over there. Let's let him do it. They didn't do it because it's the black guy. No. They said it because he is an expert surgeon who has been, doing all kinds of miracle surgeries, and maybe he's one who could do this one too. Not because he is melanin enhanced, right? And that's the way it should be. It should be not just because, we need to, because of equity, we need to make sure that we put a black person in this position. Because okay, so my freshman year in college, I had applied when I was in high school. I had really good grades, and I applied to many top schools. And I got accepted to a few, but I decided, though, that I wanted to be somewhere near home, so I chose Drake University. And I got to Drake University, and there was always that thing, where I know my ACT scores was far higher than the average ACT score for Drake University because I looked it up. But there's always that thing. There's that guy that you look at you and go, yeah, you're here and I'm here, and I wonder if you got in here because they were trying to boost you. And I'm like, no, I'm a lot smarter than your dumbass. And so anyway, I don't know if that story made sense to you as I told it, but it made sense in my head. Good morning, Fight for Your Rights. Good morning, K-Shell. How you doing? All right. By the way, there are 50 of you here, 25 likes. Somebody tell me that you like what's going on here. All right. As I was on Parler, I already did Minds. Minds was the Epic Times. Cloud Hub was the, that one. Parler. Here's another, this happens to be an Epic Times story also. Let's go into this one. Because, in the picture here, let me show you the picture of what I'm clicking here. This was what popped up. Someone here talking about trans right or human right. A California appeals court struck down as unconstitutional a state law that penalized elder care workers for using pronouns inconsistent with elderly long-term care patients' claimed gender identity. I don't know if you remember this, right? So California made a law where you could be in big trouble. Oh, did that article ever pop up? Oh, let's go back to this one because I'm guessing that this is going to do the same thing to me on Epic Times. Yes, I'm going to have to. We'll have to do this. Let's see. Hang on. Let's go back to the other one. After I archive this, maybe it's in here, but we'll find out. All right, that one's there. Let's go back to this other one because I apologize for that. I forgot we did not read this article yet. So this is this article about over 5,000 pledged to continue, not just teach it, but to continue teaching critical race theory, even if outlawed. Over 5,000 people have signed a petition at the Zid Education Project that states they vow to continue teaching controversial critical race theory concepts to their students, even if outlawed in their state, amid a growing backlash from parents against teaching CRT in their children's schools. The petition requires one to declare their role as a teacher, hang on a second here, principal, librarian, etc., but their roles are not displayed under their names and comments. Oh, okay. So maybe they may have a few false signatures on here. Who knows? Many of the signees appear to be teachers, but one identified as a former student teacher and activist, and another said they used to be a public school teacher. The Zin Education Project produces history lessons based on books by Marxist writer Howard Zinn, including The People's History of the United States. The materials are offered free to K-12 teachers across the country. CRT is rooted in the Marxist theory of class struggle, but with a particular focus on race. Proponents of CRT see racism in every aspect of American public and private life and seek to dismantle American institutions such as the Constitution and legal system, which they claim to be inherently and irredeemably racist. While schools have for years been quietly infusing CRT into their classrooms, it wasn't until last year during lockdowns enacted in response to the CCP virus pandemic that parents were able to see what their children were being taught. And this is the thing. So remember they were talking about, Tucker said something about putting body cams on teachers, shit like that. And doing cameras in the classroom stuff. I've had a lot of thought about that over the last few weeks. After I first heard that, I'm like, I don't like that idea. But this is how we found out that they're teaching some crazy shit to their students, because with the lockdowns, they've had to do the virtual learning. A lot of parents have been seeing some of the shit that they're teaching to your kids and mine, and they're like, hey, what the hell is this? What are you teaching my kids? And they're like, I don't want that because that's stupid, or it's not helpful to my kid. And look, as a parent of color, I do not see the value in having someone tell my kid that they are a oppressed victim. just don't feel it. I'm like, no. Because I want to teach my kids, which I did teach my kids. And that's why I have two very well-adjusted kids who are doing very well in the real world. I'd like to teach my kids that they are powerful human beings who can accomplish the things they want if they set their mind to it, regardless that there ain't no dumbass person who thinks they're superior or supremacist or whatever the hell that's going to stop them. Because, well, first of all, because there's not that many of those people around, and they usually don't have a whole lot of power anyway. But your life is not determined by what other people do. Your life is determined by what you do. And I think it's a stupid message to teach kids. But anyway. London County, Virginia has become ground zero in the fight against CRT-based indoctrination in schools nationwide, according to the co-founder of a parents group taking on the local education establishment. CRT must be uprooted because it seeks to view everything through the lens of race and believes all institutions, traditions, language, and history of this country are systemically racist. Ian Pryor, a parent who helped to found and is executive director of Fight for Schools, which is registered in Virginia as a political action committee, previously told the Epoch Times. A number of states have banned or introduced legislation to ban the teaching of CRT in schools as parents across the country make their opposition to the ideology heard. The Zen Project claims the laws that ban CRT are to stop teachers from teaching the truth about America, which is claims was founded on the dispossession of Native Americans, slavery, structural racism, and oppression. And that structural racism is a defining characteristic of our society today. I beg to differ. So now the petition, we the undersigned educators refuse to lie to young people about U.S. history and current events, regardless of the law. The project urges teachers to write to their state legislators. The project is aiming to collect 6,400 signatures for the pledge. Well, they got 5,000 now, and they need 6,400. I wonder how long this petition's been out there. And there's thousands of teachers around the country. There's what? I don't know how many. How many school districts are there in the country? Somebody look that up for me. There's got to be at least 20,000 school districts around the country. Somebody look that up. Robin Steinman, head of Moms for Liberty Tennessee chapter, told the Epoch Times and Epoch Times Crossroads in a July 9th interview about how CRT curricula can take different forms but results in the same negative impacts on students. The curriculum in Williamson County is, August through May, a constant drumbeat of emotionally charged dark material, dark subject matter that includes cannibalism, suicide ideation. What? Stevens said of her school district. Some grades talk about rape. Fourth grade talks about abortion. It's very racially charged, points out angry white people. It's very anti-American. Points out only American faults and none of its redemptive values. Well, I'm not shocked there. One CRT-based curriculum adopted by Steinman's school district Wit and wisdom is anti-authority, anti-tradition, and anti-church, according to Steedman. So those are all elements throughout the wit and wisdom curriculum, K through 5, kindergarten through 5th grade. Well, and if a child is exposed to that month after month, spending more time with their teacher than arguably they spend with their parents, then the danger is real. Well, I think it's also inherent on parents to, and I know not everyone has time for this. Did we have time to do this? Do we have time to go look at every single thing that our kids were bringing home and all the lessons and things they were studying? No, but we certainly would at least glance at it once in a while to know what they're being taught in school. And because I got to tell you, some of the new math stuff that they were doing, I was like, why the hell are they teaching you this way? And then some of the things actually worked, but the Common Core math, whatever, 130,000 school districts in the United States. Is that right? 31 million teachers, public school teachers, 130,000 districts as of 2018. Holy shit. That's a lot of school districts. But I figure, like, there are certain school districts that only have one high school in them. So I think of our suburban districts here in the Twin Cities, the District 196, there's 4 high schools. But the Lakeville School District, 2 high schools. Woodbury School District, 1 high school. So there could be, I could see there could be 130,000 school districts. And like every small town has a high school, or maybe they have one school that has everybody, or they have a high school, a junior high, or maybe a couple elementary schools in one town. That could be an entire school district. So I could see it. Let's see. The teaching of CRT may appear different from school to school, but Kevin Roberts, CEO of the nonpartisan Texas Public Policy Network, says parents can quickly discern if their children's schools are using CRT by going to school board meetings and asking questions or looking into the curriculum being used. He says they will likely be using catchphrases within the curriculum like white privilege,
That's racist!
systemic racism, equity,
come on, man,
social justice, identity.
How dare you?
I don't know why I used that one. And ally.
You know the thing.
Among others. Yes. Yeah, you know the buzzwords. Come on, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
Anyway. All right. Let's go back to my other article here. This is another one that I only have a few minutes left. We'll just by the way, all these articles will be open and available in the description underneath my video here. The second paragraph will be a link to called a one tab that'll have every single one of these stories added into the you'll be able to find all of these links in the one tab. And I'll do that immediately after the show. Probably before the outro is over, I will have that updated. So if you want to find your own version of this, that'd be great. All right, let's go to this one. This is from I got out of was this Parler? Yeah, this one came out of Parler. Okay. And this is also from the Epic Times. Okay, California Appeals Court overturns anti-misgendering law on First Amendment grounds. This is fantastic. What were they gonna do? They were gonna you could possibly go to jail for misgendering someone in an elder care home. A California appeals court struck down as unconstitutional a state law that penalized elder care workers for using pronouns inconsistent with elderly long-term care patients' claimed gender identity. Gender identity is a disputed concept. A lack of linguistic clarity has clouded the issue in recent years as the concepts of sex and sexual identity or gender, a politically and scientifically contentious concept whose definition isn't universally agreed upon, have become difficult to separate. Despite the distinct meanings of the two words, many institutions and individuals use gender to mean biological sex especially on fillable forms and documents. Failing to use gender in its new meaning can be costly nowadays. A New York human rights law banning gender identity discrimination imposes fines up to $250,000 for failing to use a person's preferred pronouns. Are you serious? So you can be fined $250,000. Now, I don't know what specifically, let's see. From the Washington Post. Okay, there's a link in there to on the Washington Post article. But $250,000 for failing to use a person's preferred pronouns. I don't care what context that is in. That's insanity, because you do not use pronouns for a person when you're talking to them in the first place. You're talking to a third person, and you use pronouns just for clarity so they know who you're talking about. Anyway, I'd be interested. In fact, I will just open that up to get an idea of how that works. Social media giant Twitter bans users for misgendering or dead naming transgender people, categorizing it as a harassment and abuse. I know people who've been banned for that. Dead naming is referring to people by names they used before they changed their gender identity. For example, calling Caitlyn Jenner by that person's birth name, that guy, Bruce Jenner. Facebook reportedly recognizes at least 58 genders, allowing users to select which gender to use in their profile descriptions, self-descriptions. Among them are androgynous, bigender, cisgender, genderfluid, genderqueer, non-binary, pangender, trans, and two-spirit. Which, I gotta tell you, two-spirit, that was some Indian chief in Canada who just was embarrassed that their son was gay or whatever, and just played it off by saying, oh, he is two-spirit. He's two-spirit. But in a rare legal defeat for the transgenderism movement, a ruling by the Court of Appeal of the state of California, 3rd Appellate District, sided with First Amendment speech protections over activists. The ruling by the 3-judge panel was unanimous. The court decision in Taking Offense versus State of California came on July 16th. Taking Offense is an informal group of state taxpayers. The court decision affects lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender long-term care facility residents' Bill of Rights, which the California legislature added to the state's health and safety code in 2017. State Senator Scott Wiener, a Democrat, that's that dude. Oh, he's not a good person. And not because of his LGBTQ activism, but because it's because he's not a good person. He has some issues. Anyway, he said in 2017 that he wrote the bill because LGBT seniors face special challenges that weren't covered by existing nursing home laws, local media reported. Now, the thing is, though, they made this law where in nursing homes, it didn't apply to any other part of the state, but in nursing homes where you could be fined and or fired and or, I can't remember it may say here, what the other penalties are for misgendering someone in a nursing home. And it only applied to nursing homes. Now, do you think possibly after passing a law like that in California, someone would be like, oh, well, we should just make that a general law in the state of California because we can, because we're the legislature. We can get away with that shit. Anyway, Wiener said he had received reports of LGBT seniors being mistreated. Yes, I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of senior citizens out there who are trans or whatever, and they were just complaining about having the wrong pronouns, right? I'm sure all the seniors who, because this has been a part of their life since the 1970s, right? Because all this stuff is, has been around forever, right? None of this is new. None of this is shit that they're like, what is Zer mean? I have no idea what Zer mean. Never heard of this. This is a weird word. I'm I'm sorry. Anyway. So he continued. We have a number of advocacy organizations that are very excited about the bill that helped get us passed, and they're definitely putting the word out that people living in long-term care facilities have these protections and should be aware of them. He said, yes, because all those trans people at the nursing home are just chomping at the bit to have you pass this law. So here's the provision that they got overturned. Health and Safety Code Section 1439.51, Subdivision A5, quote, prohibits staff members of long-term care facilities from willfully and repeatedly referring to a facility residents by other than the resident's preferred name and pronoun when clearly informed of the name and pronoun according to court documents. Now, as I said, look, most people in a nursing home are probably going to be registered into the nursing home under whatever name that they sign up for in the nursing home. How many people in nursing homes do you think transition into something else after they end up in the nursing home? Further, how many people do you think in a nursing home decide to inform everyone they're going to change their name and pronouns? Probably not too many. And again, pronouns, you don't use pronouns when you're talking to the person in question. You're usually talking to another nurse and doctor about what should we do about old BB over there. Because his preferred pronouns are he, him. No, it's old BB over there is her when I'm talking to another nurse over here, not anywhere near BB, because it's, BB is female. Anyway, taking offense, challenged that provision, arguing that it violates care facilities and staff members' right to free speech, free exercise of religion, and freedoms of thought and belief, and is vague and overboard. Right on. The court said it recognizes the legislatures. Whoa, listen to this. The court said it recognized the legislature's legitimate and laudable goal of rooting out discrimination against LGBT residents of long-term care facilities. Is it? I thought these were private businesses. You said Facebook's a private business, right? You said Twitter's a private business. You're gonna regulate what people they can't regulate themselves. He stated, but we agree with taking offense that the pronoun provision is a content-based restriction of speech that does not survive strict scrutiny. Well, good for them. The pronoun provision, whether enforced through criminal or civil, they had criminal and civil penalties, is over-inclusive in that it restricts more speech than is necessary to achieve the government's compelling interest in eliminating discrimination, including harassment on the basis of sex, rather than prohibiting conduct and speech amounting to actionable harassments or discrimination as those terms are legally defined. The law criminalizes even occasional, isolated, offhand instances of willful misgendering, providing there has been at least one prior instance, without requiring that such actual instances of misgendering amount to harassing or discriminatory conduct. You know what? That's for the employer to decide if they're trying to harass somebody. This is so, oh my God. There is no requirement in the statute that the misgendering at issue here negatively affect any resident's access to care or course of treatment. Indeed, there's no requirement that the resident even be aware of the misgendering. That's the other part. Because if the resident isn't even aware of the misgendering, how could that be harassing the president? I don't know how. Anyway, so good for that judge. I'm sure they'll fight it and it'll go higher than that court. Let's see here. No, I don't. Oh, this Washington Post one. You're gonna have to have an archive, so I'll get rid of this. Let me do this real just quick. The link in the let's see, probably, yes, good. It was archived 2 months ago. So this is where you can be fined for not calling people's ear here or whatever, the one that they linked in this article. All right, and then finally, let's just end up with this one. I got a couple other things open, but we're going to skip it. In Cloud Hub, oh, this was precious. So let's go, I'm sorry, in Getter. Brian Stelter got just obliterated on his own show by this jackhole. What the hell's his name? I can't think of his name. Is this, hopefully, let's try opening this Rumble link here. Hopefully it's just the CNN version. Yeah, here it is. Michael Wolf. That's the jackhole. Here, I'm going to mute this for a second.
Hey, it's Danielle here for Patriots.
No. Really, I don't want to hear you, Danielle.
Our all-time
Here, let's get that ad.
And that's what Trump does. He has spent most.
So this is Michael Wolf, and we'll finish with this because it's just funny. Watching Brian Stelter get ripped by another asshole. Michael Wolf's the guy who wrote that book about Trump, like right after he became president. That was so factually deficient that it was completely embarrassing. But anyway, here's Michael Wolf just ripping on Brian Stelter to his face. This is one of those videos that just makes my heart warm, even though I think Michael Wolf is a completely useless piece of crap. But him obliterating Brian Stelter is gotta love it. Here we go.
Of his administration, seeing people on television and immediately calling them.
But maybe that's how it works sometimes.
I don't want you to think.
Is that how it works? That's how you get access.
But I don't want you to think that what I said at that point was in any way inauthentic. I think the media has done a terrible job on this. I think you yourself, you're a nice guy. You're full of sanctimony. You become part of one of the parts of the problem of the media. You come on here and you have a monopoly on truth. You know exactly how things are supposed to be done. You are one of the reasons people can't stand the media. Sorry.
Cross.
You're cracking me up.
It's your fault.
He's serious. He's serious, Stelter.
What should I do differently, Michael?
Shut your pie hole.
Don't talk so much. Listen more. People have genuine problems with the media. The media doesn't get the story right. The media exists in its own bubble.
That's true. I agree.
You gotta stop. I mean, that last segment that I just had to listen to of all of the people saying the same old stuff. Also, you're incredibly repetitive. It's week after week. I mean, you're the flip side of Donald Trump. Fake news, and you say virtuous news.
We just figure out what is real.
I mean,
do you, Brian?
Well, figuring out what is real is not so easy, and most people don't want to turn to Brian Stelter to tell us what's real. I'm sorry.
Well, then why'd you bother coming on CNN a few times this week?
I'm a book salesman.
That's the only reason to go on CNN to sell your book. Okay, that was fucking precious. Oh, okay. So that was my thing today. Oh my gosh, I got all kinds of do I have more thank yous to go here? Let's see here. What did I miss here? Let me check real quick. Thank you. Sheagrath, at least play PDawgKnight. What? At least play what? What did I do that? Oh, for the love of God. It's a Chromecast. I fall asleep listening to Random Monkey in the Cochran. I don't want to wake up to the 3-letter alphabet morning shows autoplay, especially after I block the channels. Oh, okay. So thank you, Sheagrath, for recommending me. Also, thank you, Maddie, for putting out the show this morning. Looks like RVA Dar, Scribe Light, Tyler F, and Diesel Dave. put the show on Twitter this morning, and also Dr. Keeve, Kiever Dam in the chat there. Good morning, Fight for Your Rights. Also, did I miss anybody while I was doing all the stupid punching sounds? Jesse Leon, how you doing? All right, that's everybody. I'm gonna click this. How much time do I got? I still got a couple minutes. Let me see if there's anything else I missed here. We already got Charlie Kirk. We got that. We got the conservative porn star. Oh, I forgot about them going after Ben Shapiro. Let's do this one real quick because this one's fascinating. Also, apparently someone found out that 1619 Project founder Nicole. Now this is going to blow your mind and you're not going to believe it. And I'm not going through the article, but I'll have it open in the tab down below. But this article, I'll do this and then I'll go back to Ben Shapiro. You're not going to believe this. I think this is so out of character that you're not going to go. You're going to go, wow, that's shocking. The Project 1619 founder. She wrote she's like the main person of the 1619 Project for the New York Times. Hannah Nicole Jones. Apparently, someone unearthed a 2019 podcast where Hannah Nicole Jones, you're not going to believe this. I swear you are not going to believe it. You're just not. She was saying communist Cuba is among the least racist countries in the world because socialism means the least inequality. She said she believes Cuba is the most equal country in the Western Hemisphere. Equally poor. She made the comments in a 2019 podcast, but they have recently emerged again online and sparked fury among those protesting against the regime. She said the communist country could serve as a model for integration. Well, yeah, Che Guevara just killed all the black people, and that was how they took care of it. You know, Che Guevara was, oh my God, he was racist as hell. She said the communist country could serve as a model. She noted how Cuba was one of the most equal and multiracial countries and with very little inequality between the black and white people living there. Again, equally poor. It comes as Cubans have taken to the streets for an unprecedented show of protests against the communist regime. Many Cubans have been crying for freedom from the communist dictatorship and expressing anger over rising prices, yada, yada, yada. So you can read that article will be in the tabs. Holy shit. I'm sure she agrees with what's happening in South Africa. Oh, yeah, that's not good either there, where the Zulus are really having a kind of Zulus versus everybody right now there. All right, now, and I'll finish up this interesting little thing happening with NPR and Ben Shapiro. So we were talking about how the White House was saying how they want to flag information on Facebook and talk about these bad actors on Facebook. Well, the NPR did an article on Ben Shapiro on how outrage as a business model is building his brand, right? The Daily Wire brand. And I'll leave the article linked up, but I'm going to go through Ben Shapiro's thread and then we're going to get out of here because he does make the main points, some of the main points I made, and you'll see some others when you get through it. So this piece is a masterclass on how the establishment media, in this case, publicly funded. Well, they're not necessarily public funded. NPR gets about 1% of their funding from the government, kind of through inadvertent it's money laundering basically, because they go through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which does get more than 1% of their funding, but they make a grant, and then a couple other places that get a federal government grant also put their money towards NPR. So they're only about 1% government funded. The rest is donations, which is surprising. It makes me wonder, why do they need 1% of government funding? But anyway, but how they seek to label everything they don't like as misinformation and then suppress it. They're coming for freedom of the press. They're not even hiding the ball. And Jen Psaki kind of gave us that proof of that, the way she said how they are going to flag misinformation on Facebook. Anyway, according to NPR, Facebook should permanently, presumably suppress us because we are overtly conservative, not because of misinformation, because we are conservative. They make no bones about this. And here's the quote he quotes, the articles the Daily Wire publishes don't normally include falsehoods. Okay, right? With some exceptions. And the site says it's committed to truthful, accurate, and ethical reporting. But Settle, they said, it's funny because in the article they said, well, all these experts are saying that this, and this. They cite one so-called expert who's a professor of some kind of journalism and something social media ethics at William and Mary. And it's the only expert they cite. Anyway, so Settle's this expert. But as Settle explains, by only covering specific stories that bolster the conservative agenda, like negative stories about socialist countries and polarizing stories about race and sexuality issues, and only including certain facts, readers still come away from the Daily Wire's content with the impression that Republican politicians can do little wrong and cancel culture is among the nation's greatest threats. Now, I'll bet you $1 to a donut that this Professor Settle, probably doesn't give a shit about what Media Matter writes or Salon or Slate or any of these other, BuzzFeed or anybody else. But boy, the Daily Wire, oh goodness gracious, they only present certain facts. Again, doesn't normally include falsehoods. Okay. So anyway, that's, I'm sure they had no complaints about those other outlets. So then he says, here's my favorite part where NPR quotes an expert who openly conflates stories I don't like with misinformation, and in which NPR acknowledges that we're open about our biases, but still somehow misleading people. This is the expert speaking here. Come on. They tend not to provide very much context for the information that they are providing, said Settle. If you stripped enough context away, any piece of truth can become a piece of misinformation. Publicly, the site does not purport to be a traditional news source. Oh, they tell you what they are. They tell you. On its About page, the site declares, the Daily Wire does not claim to be without bias, and goes on to say, we're opinionated, we're noisy, and we're having a good time, end quote. It's not clear that millions of people engaging with the site's news stories every month recognize that. The Daily Wire's context looks no different in Facebook's news feed than an article from a local newspaper, making it potentially difficult to distinguish between more and less reliable or biased information sites. Yes, because if you don't know that the Washington Post is also a very biased information source, but don't complain about it, then maybe you, Professor Settle, need to shut the fuck up. Oh my gosh. And then he continues. The founders could hardly have been expected to foresee that the chief advocates for suppression of informational distribution would be members of the press, but that's where we are, and they're making no bones about it. Right now, the White House is saying it wants to press social media into suppressing misinformation about COVID. The White House should not be in the business of directing social media companies to suppress information, period. But this isn't really about COVID. The NPR article is giving away the game. So is Kara Swisher at the New York Times, who wrote this just today in an article titled, "They're Killing People. Biden isn't quite right, but he's not wrong." Here's this is someone writing for the New York Times saying this. But the ability to resist social media juggernauts pales in comparison to the tremendous power of these platforms to amplify bad information. Attempting to stop falsehoods by claiming to offer good information is like using a single sandbag to hold back an impossibly fetid ocean. It's like that when it comes to a range of once anodyne, now divisive issues, from election integrity to critical race theory to whatever, keeping this country in a constant state of twitchy confusion. Now that's weird you would use the word twitchy, because Twitchy is one of my favorite sites of aggregating stupid Twitter posts. But anyway, the idea here is that Facebook and the social media companies have a centralized distribution of information. Democrats and the establishment wish to restore their monopoly on informational dissemination by pressuring Facebook to do their bidding. And the most hilarious thing is that they're supposedly doing all this in the name of ending polarization. That's because if you suppress your opposition, polarization ends. Yay! Oops. There we go. You now have a unipolar monopoly. Disappearing those who disagree does indeed end polarization. The only cost are freedom of speech in the press, open discussion, and the inability for us to live with each other while tolerating different viewpoints. Oh well, at least the Democrats will maintain their agitprop empire, and the establishment media will restore their monopoly. Bottom line, subscribe to the informational outlet that you like. All of them, from Daily Wire to Blaze, Fox News to Salon, to whatever you like. You can read whatever you like. You can read whatever you like. And on that note, you can check the thread yourself. I'll leave it in links. I hope that you all are having a wonderful Monday so far. I certainly am, but unfortunately, it's time for me to give up this lovely shell game that I play called reading news stories and making fun of people and news. So I hope you all had a good morning. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button before you do anything else, because you can tell I'm starting to end the show. Also, share the stream. If you want to donate to the show, be a sponsor of the show, all that information is in the description down below. You can do that. Thank you for our sponsors today, Gunfox61, Pacalo, and Justin Anderson. I appreciate you more than you know. Everyone have a lovely day. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT, something like that. You can figure it out. Or just follow me on these social media. I'll put notifications out. Follow me on this channel. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll get the notifications. All right, that's it for today, people. Time for me to go. Have a great day. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.